I'm not so perfect, baby, yeah, you are. Come right, come right.
How's it going, everyone? We've got some of my Johnny gameplay in the background from my stream here on YouTube. If you ever see me live, feel free to stop by and hang out. Today I want to talk about new players and the concept that it's okay to be bad at fighting games. I think a big obstacle for new players picking up fighting games is overcoming the feeling of being bad. Accepting that you're probably going to lose a lot before you ever win a game can be very hard. And the act of going into the lab is a big turnoff to some people because it almost feels like homework, especially when you start learning about frame data, combos, and other things that go into your character. It can be very overwhelming seeing all the moves and inputs that are required for your character, whether it be your normals, command grabs, special moves, all of that. I think that can deter people from wanting to continue. It can be very hard to find somewhere to start as well. Once you see everything laid out in front of you, you see all your normals, your specials, the buttons, the other characters you have to deal with, using your meter, it can be very hard to find somewhere to start. And I always suggest starting with the fundamentals, right? We're starting with game mechanics. That can always be something that transfers over very well. Fundamentals will transfer over to any game very well. Game mechanics are something that you have to learn game by game, but once you learn fundamentals once, you won't have to learn them again. You'll just be constantly working on them. Although you are behind right now, right? So speaking on the perspective of a new player, right? A beginner. Even though you're behind right now in the big picture, right? You're playing with people who have been playing the genre for years and years and years. Doesn't mean that you can't catch up. Not everyone learns at the same pace, and someone at the top is not going to be improving at the same rate that you're improving because they've already learned everything that you've learned. Once you get to that point, I believe that you don't hit a wall per se, but there's a limit to how much you can learn, and you start to get into the nitty-gritty, right? And the goal of the new player, right? My goal is to get to that point where I know everything and to where I'm sort of focused on very minute technical details of the game and not very basic things like spacing. Just because you're behind right now does not mean you can't catch up. I think there's a huge myth regarding tournaments. There's no rank or experience required to playing in a tournament, and it can be a great experience for you even as a beginner. I think that playing tournaments at the start really helps you overcome, tournament nerves, ranked anxiety, things like that. When you go into a tournament with nothing to lose, you sort of are at an advantage to an extent, right? You don't really have any nerves. You don't really feel anything if you lose. But the better you get, the more you want to win, right? So I think that starting with tournaments, not starting with tournaments, but starting with tournaments once you have got your fundamentals down to an extent and you know your character can be a great thing. You can make friends. You can link up with your local FGC, which is a little hard during the pandemic, obviously because there's no local offline events. So I think that tournaments that are region locked to your state usually can be a good way to find people in your area to play with and not have any connection issues. Most local communities, in my experience, use Discord or Facebook groups, and I don't think they use Facebook groups because they're, outdated or anything. I think they use them just because they were established a long time ago and they built up like giant crowds that it wouldn't be as beneficial to delete it and just move all the way to Discord. So that might be why they still use Facebook groups. I thought that was really weird when I started playing too, and I didn't really like it because I didn't really have a Facebook anymore. But trust me, it's worth, following the page and seeing when they're hosting stuff. Another point is that you can find better players who can teach you through their own experience. And this is still, playing in tournaments, right? You're most likely going to lose in the tournament, right? You're going to go 0-2. But the guy that you lost to, if he's in your area, is usually a good person to hit up and, maybe get to know and play some sets with, right? It really does accelerate your growth playing against better players, as they can tell you your issues very fast and expose, they can really expose them through how they play against you. For example, the other day, I was playing ranked and I was streaming it in the Discord for my local, and they could see what the opponent was doing, but that I couldn't pick up on, right? It was a pattern that I couldn't pick up on. Basically, what my friend Juice has said was this guy is going to throw 2 fireballs, and then he's going to jump, right? He's going to throw fireballs, he's going to jump or dash. And without fail, every single time this Ryu threw 2 fireballs, jumped or dashed at me. And I didn't recognize that at first. And then Juices said after every block string, this Ryu presses a big button, so he'll press a heavy or something like that. And sure enough, every single time after a block string, he pressed a heavy button. So I still lost that match, I'm not going to lie to you, because I didn't adapt fast enough to what they were telling me to do. So after that, I played in a battle lounge with Juices, and he played Nikali, and he did the exact same thing that the Ryu did. He did V-skill twice, then he either jumped and dashed at me, and it took me 3 games in my head to figure out that he was doing exactly what the Ryu was doing to teach me a lesson. So things like that are a very invaluable resource to have. As well as, their company and friendship, right? That's important too. Something I personally felt when I started was that I was wasting the time of higher level players. But I don't think that this is something to worry about in most, if not all, cases. I think people who are veterans to the scene and really love the game are happy that you showed up, or just happy that you're picking up the game, right? Fighting games are a niche genre with not a lot of players compared to, League of Legends or any battle royale game. So just the act of you having any interest in the game that they love and have been playing for years, I think it means a lot to them. And seeing your improvement, I've heard this from a couple people in my community. Watching me improve is very satisfying, right, to them, and it's really cool to see that the things that they teach me, I implement. I've learned that the FGC is very welcoming to new players, and as the FGC is a little older than most communities, they're more mature and accepting of people of any age group or any background, right, to an extent. Obviously, there's exceptions to all of that, but I've definitely played with people who are a little older than me that I wouldn't have any interaction with otherwise, right? I think that it really brings together all age ranges, and it really brings together everyone over one thing, which is fighting games. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. Thank you.